A podcast? Did your radio show get canceled?
Fire. Low down and filthy, but the discipline is on point. Schooled myself, made my own dojo. A cold flow with the whole dose of soul. Maintain composure, even in theory. An anomaly, properties undiscernible to mere peasants. Use weapons that level entire areas. Scarier than an
I was on Good Morning America last week. Not because I have a Ponzi scheme and I was arrested. And don't read into that comment. But because I was doing a segment helping a family deal with some financial planning issues. And I, of course, anytime you're in the newspaper, just so you know, anytime you're in the newspaper or on a TV or radio of any significance, what happens is people send you crappy email. So I'm guessing this was not a problem prior to the 1990s when email became popular. I don't know if people just would write you a crappy letter. But now they send you crappy email. I got an email, subject line, saw you on Good Morning America. I was like, oh, this is going to be filled with compliments, I said to myself. Subject line, saw you in Good Morning America. Body, Dear Pete, I hate your jacket. I hate your jacket was the comment. So anyway, I was like, Good Morning America. This week on the podcast, we were talking to a man who in 18 months went from supporting two people on two full-time incomes to supporting five people on one. Yeah, that's right. They have a one full-time income and one part-time income and three kids. So get ready for your blood pressure to go up, because mine did on this episode. A lot going on. And in about 2 weeks, I've got something exciting for you. So stay tuned. You'll see that. 2 weeks. $1 Million Plan with Pete the Planner. Here is today's wonderful guest, and his name is Ed.
Stop what you're doing and hit Pete up on Twitter at Pete the Planner.
sound good to me.
I never question the right of any man to voice his opinion as strongly as any can. But then again, many men are citizens of their own little world, so they ain't really fitting in. I'm in the background blending in, camouflaged by the scenery, but I'm a champion. Revamp the camp again, put down the stamp again, talk to my fans again, renew my brand again, review the plan again.
We welcome Ed to the $1 Million Plan. Hello, Ed.
Hi, Pete.
So you've had some interesting changes. You're one of the folks that when I do open phone lines from time to time, you and I have actually spoken on the phone randomly together a few months back. And not that I didn't fix your problem, but we want to extend the conversation and make sure that you're getting all the answers to your questions. So give us your financial life in a nutshell, Ed.
Well, the biggest, we had a recent change in our financial life, and that's that my wife has gone back to work part-time now. And so we've got her income, and we're kind of trying to figure out, how much of it can we spend, how much more do we need to invest towards retirement, and should we be putting more away for kids' college?
So from what I understand, what happened was you went from two full incomes down to one because of a family situation, and then now you're back up to two?
Yeah, or about 1.5.
Okay, and so does the one income, I assume that is that yours, and it satisfies all of your bills and those sorts of things?
Yeah, it does.
And then on top of that, is your income, is it able to put money towards other financial priorities for the future, or is the second income the only one that does that?
We cut back. I wanted to try to continue to save towards the future without completely, I didn't want to completely cut it out, but we did cut back. But we have been able to, accomplish our goals over the last few years while she's been off of work.
So you guys are, how old are the both of you?
We are both about 38.
All right, and then what's the proof in the pudding? How much money do you have set aside for retirement right now, Ed?
Right now, our retirement's at about $330,000.
$330,000?
Yeah.
And then how much of that has to do with your efforts versus maybe an inheritance or something like that?
About 290 is strictly us.
Okay. And then you got a little bit of an inheritance on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then how much on a monthly basis right now is going toward retirement?
Right now, about $1,500.
$1,500 a month. And does that include what your employer is doing as well?
No, it doesn't. I'm on a pension plan, so that's not. I'm not vested yet, so I kind of don't even. I don't include that right now.
So your $1 million day is October 3rd of 2026. October 23rd, or actually October 3rd of 2026. Let me reconfirm this. October 3rd of 2026. Does that seem close, or does it seem far away yet to you?
It actually seems closer than what I thought it would be.
Well, that's a good thing, right? As long as you...
Yeah, that's a good thing.
And then are you trying to determine how much of your wife's income would then go that direction as well? Is that part of this whole discussion?
Yeah.
Now, part of the discussion as well is you have some children and you're trying to fund college appropriately. How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
3, and what are their ages?
They are 8, 8, and 6, and they are all going to be starting college within 12 months of each other.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, I know. Some people that have a few kids, at least they may be staggered by 3 or 4 years, so that you could concentrate on paying for one while the other one is still in high school or, already graduated from college. Yeah, ours are all going to be starting within a year of each other.
And then what have you done so far to plan for that?
We started 529s when each one of them was born, and I'm funding it through a direct deposit through my work. And I think the last time I checked, they're all right around 15,000.
Okay. So obviously at 8, 8, and 6, if they're at 15,000 now and you're regularly putting money into them at your current pace, and this shouldn't be a surprise to you, Ed, you're not going to fully fund college. Is that
right.
Is it your intent to do so? Is it your intent to try to do as much as you can, as people often say, or what's the real goal here?
I mean, the ultimate goal would be to pay for all of it. And then, we're going to do what we can to control the cost as far as in-state schools and, not private schools. But yeah, I mean, we want to pay for as much as we can. Hopefully that's all of it. We're hoping that as the kids get older, we're able to eliminate some additional liabilities and maybe then have the income to do it.
What's your financial reality like right now in terms of how much money do you have on hand for emergencies?
We have about 20 set aside for emergencies right now. That's about 3 to 6 months of what we take, of what our expenses are.
So is it safe to say that right now things are going well financially? I mean, that's the way, at least from a quick glance, that I view your situation.
Yeah, I think things are going pretty well. I mean, if the biggest thing, one of the big things for us right now is, like I said, the fact that there's no in between time on the kids starting college, and the other issue then is just the rate that tuition has increased over the last few years, and trying to, basically, with the cost of college has gone up faster than our investments can go up. So the fact trying to use our income to actually overcome that difference and get enough put aside for 3 kids to go to school.
How much does your wife's income, like how much can you all right now dedicate towards your financial goals?
At least half of it. She's in an interesting position. where she's only getting paid for a portion of the year, and then during the rest of the year she doesn't receive an income. So we talked about that and decided, hey, look, we don't. I know you use the term lifestyle creep, and I was telling her, look, we can't just suck up this income and use it on expenses, and then come July we don't have that money anymore, right, and we become dependent on it. So we are trying to we're trying to save a majority of her check. A portion of it goes towards the kids' college. And then we're using it to save for future purchases that we don't have any commitment to right now. We don't have a car payment right now. So, but unfortunately, that can't last forever.
Yeah.
So trying to set up some money aside to purchase a car in the future, and that was actually a question I had for you too on vehicles. I wondered if you had a theory on vehicle replacement.
Well, I can tell you what I personally do. Whether that's good or not, I don't know. But I can tell you I tend to buy pre-existing owned vehicles with cash. That's what I do. They're usually 4 to 5 years old by the time I buy them. They've got less than 50,000 miles on them, and I drive them for 8 to 10 years.
And that was my question. I didn't know if you thought once you buy the vehicle, because my wife is an '07. Mine's even older than that, but I don't have to drive it very often. But I wondered if your theory was buy them used and then drive them, until they're worth close to nothing, or do you, try to buy them and then, keep them for a shorter period of time and then try to use what you've saved up combined with the value of that vehicle to move up to a, nicer vehicle?
Yeah, I think the last time I did that whole thing, I think I was able to get, now I got to think about this, $5,000 to $6,000 out of the car I was quote unquote trading in or selling.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what I do isn't necessarily perfect in that regard. I don't spend a lot of money on cars. Like, I just don't care. So it sounds like we somewhat agree there. Some people put themselves in a jam where they create these scenarios in which, well, I better trade it in now before it goes down to nothing. But then they sort of move their timeline up for no particular reason when there's still a lot of value to be had out of the car that you're trying to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say, other than college, retirement, and obviously you have your emergencies funded, that car purchases are the sort of the next major step in your financial life, of the next category of which you could need a lot of money to satisfy?
Yeah, that, and we need to do a couple things to the house, and they're not as expensive as a car, but they're going to be a few $1,000s.
Now, how much money is that half income that we keep speaking of your wife's? Like, it is a full income, but maybe it's part time. I don't, how much of an income is that?
I think last year it was around 17 or 18,000.
Okay, is that pre-tax? 17, 18,000?
That's after tax.
Okay, so that's a good amount of money to fund a goal. I gotta say, of everything we've talked about, I always like to think of it in terms of the next dollar in your house. What should it do? And based on what you've told me, the next dollar into your house should fund college, and that's my opinion. I think at although having $45,000 set aside for college for the 3 kids total is great, it's not enough, and so it is sort of the bird that's chirping that needs the worm. I would put that's the default. I would put every extra dime towards that. Frankly, that's what I'm personally doing with my own kids' college money as well, is that it is the primary goal which is not funded, which needs funded.
Right. And now with a 529 account, from what I understand, there's no limit to the amount you can put in per year. Is that correct?
There is a $55,000 per year limit, the way I understand it. Oh, you hear that little ding on my phone? That doesn't mean our time's up. I don't know why that ding. $55,000 a year, but I believe you live in the same state I live in, which is Indiana, which is to suggest that the tax credit max is putting in $5,000 will maxes out your tax credit at $1,000. So,
Right.
But I put in a hell of a lot more than $5,000 a year. You just can't put any more than $55,000 a year into it.
And then there's a maximum ceiling on it though, isn't it? Like $200,000 or something like that per account.
Let's look. I don't believe so. We're looking.
Not that I'm going to hit that, but is there? I mean, is hypothetically, if we were to just put as much as we could towards this, is there a period of time? Is there a number where we would stop?
Yes.
Because I know there's penalties if you try to withdraw the money and not use it towards college.
Well, here's what
I don't think. I think the likelihood of it happening is extremely low, but I would want to stop before we put too much in.
No, that's fair. I mean, but the other thing people do is that you would then try to max out Roth IRAs if you can, because that way for you and your wife, if you're able to contribute based on your income, because then you can use those for college. And if for some reason the kids don't go to school, then you can keep them for yourselves and there's no penalty.
Right.
So that's another. I mean, do you qualify to put money into Roths, or do you make too much?
Yeah, we're doing that.
Okay.
That's actually where a majority of our retirement is.
Oh, see, great. I mean, which again, you think about the retirement problem is you're trying to fund a 30 to 40 year period. So I don't love Roths for college planning because then it takes away your opportunity to effectively fund retirement. Yeah, I mean, the 529 thing, it's always an interesting point of, well, I don't want too much in there in case my kids don't go to school and then we're in trouble. Well, you're just paying taxes on the gains of the money, so it's not a tremendous penalty per se.
I thought there was a penalty as well. I guess.
Well, I think the bigger issue is as your kids get closer to college and you look at your balances and you understand their path. The bigger issue is, and by the way, there is a 10% penalty as well. I didn't want to forget to say that. It's that you would just bear back or pull back the contributions. You would not put as much towards it. For my wife and I, our mortgage will be paid off right when my daughter goes to college. So we're trying to effectively fund the 529, but leave enough of a margin that then we can fund the rest of her college via cash flow, on a monthly basis.
Via cash flow with the money that would have been going towards the house.
Yeah, and a good way to do that is A, to structure your mortgage that way, and B, is to be so aggressive with your 529s up until their college age that by no longer contributing to the 529, you create this margin that can then cash flow the education.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So what else? If I'm you, again, the focus turns to college, but what else can I answer for you?
I'm having trouble coming up with something else.
Well, you don't have to make anything up. I mean, there's no need for that.
When do you have a specific number for? We're hoping that she can go full time here within the next year or so. Where do you see us? Where do you see us needing to be as far as using her income towards retirement?
I don't think you have a retirement issue whatsoever. I mean, if you want to retire at 50, yes, then you need to put it towards retirement. But if you're trying to retire in your mid-60s, based on the numbers you gave me at your current pace, you're fine. You're going to have $5.3 million by the time you're 67, which should be fine. I can't, unless you want to move up retirement date, I would not put a lot more towards retirement. But if you do want to retire when you're 55 or so, then by all means, do that math here. You'll have 1.9 million when you're 55, which is probably not enough to retire on because a majority of that will be in tax qualified vehicles, which you can't easily access.
Access at that point, yeah.
Yeah, so
And then we're relying on a smaller amount of money for a longer period of time.
That's the way I view it. That's the tough thing when you have 3 kids that are so close in age. This sounds weird, but there are consequences to that. There are economic consequences.
Oh, yeah.
And it's that you can't retire in your mid-50s unless you have a ton of money.
Mm-hmm. So with her new, if she's able to go full time, is there a number as far as percentage wise or dollar wise that I should shoot for? Just estimate their college based on the 7 or 8% that it's been increasing by over the last few years.
I think so. I mean, that is one of the big unknowns. I mean, if we're going to go at 6 to 7% inflation over the next 9 years or 8 years for your kid, or 10 years, I should say, for your kids, I mean, you're going to come up with some ridiculous number of like a total of $250,000 per education or something like that.
Right. Yeah, it's huge.
But here's the good news, and not to oversimplify this any more than I already have, but you're at $15,000 per child, and we think you're going to have to be at $250,000 per child. This doesn't become a overfunding problem for quite some time.
Right, a long, long time.
Yeah. And again, if she goes from $17,000 to $34,000, great. And the more of that can go to solve your problem that you're going to have 10 years from now, great. But I don't think you're going to have an overfunding problem. And I'll also say this: you guys are 38. You're going to be 48 when your kid. Gosh, that's crazy to think about, isn't it? When your kids go to college, from all the research we've done here at our offices, your late 40s to your early 50s are far and away the hardest years of your financial life, and no one sees it coming. So if you at least recognize that and plan for that, it'll be much easier on you than it is for other people.
Right, because you've got the double crunch of the kids being in college and the impending retirement.
Yeah, and you're running out of time. And with your situation, there's no double crunch. There's like quadruple crunch because you've got 1,000 children.
Yeah.
Or 3. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like once you get more than 2, it seems like 1,000.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, they told us when we had the third, they said, you realize you've committed the cardinal sin. There's now more of them than there are of you.
Yeah, it's you play zone now. No more man-to-man.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, all right. Anything else?
Not that I can think of right now.
All right. Well, we like.
I wish I could think of something else, but I'm drawing a blank.
No, so am I. So if you have any updates you want to send us, by all means, just shoot them to my email address, and we will update the audience. But I thank you for letting us dig inside your financial life.
All right, thanks.
If you want to be on this podcast and have Pete fix your money life, then hit us up at PeteThePlanner.com/podcast. You heard me. PeteThePlanner.com/podcast. Log on.
This is for information purposes only. It's not the Swiss financial planning device. Consult a financial advisor.
Released from Everest, the fresh is fresh, and you can call me E.T. Word to John Tesh. Let me bless this harmonic presentation. It's amazing, so amazing. I'm the reason. Salutations, I bring you love, trying greetings from a faraway land. I am the sole controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Love Tron can restore your health. I bring you greetings, salutations. How you doing? And is that how y'all say it? The tinkling of the keys is an homage to the little star. I sojourn over poetic descriptions of sound and travel to my other world. Out of this world, spaceship on my arm took me home, fueled by the ink and the megabytes and the hypertext transfer protocol, stronger than the Skynet and the Terminator. I push faders into warp speed, glide with ease, creating a breeze they call a black hole. Event horizon, no rear view concerns. This I adjourn, and beats I burn. This I adjourn, and beats I burn. Salutations, I bring you love-tron greetings from a faraway land. I am the sole controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Love-tron can restore your health. I bring you greetings, salutations. How you doing? And is that how y'all say it?